I've already done this before. A little over 3 years ago, I uploaded my first challenge video, Zhengling doesn't count, Diluc only. If you don't know, Diluc is my favorite character in all of Genshin Impact. I've been maining him for about 5 years and I absolutely love him. It was a no-brainer to make Diluc only my very first Genshin challenge video. But with that being said, that challenge was made when the latest region was Sumeru. I've since added all of Fontaine and Natlan to my challenges, the latter being the nation of Pyro. Can Diluc still hold his own like he did 3 years ago? Well, this is a challenge I've been wanting to redo for a long time, so let's do it again. Here are the rules. I can only use Diluc in battle. Any puzzles that require another element can be completed with another character. No co-op for fighting enemies, no healing items in battle, and all claymores are allowed. Now let's see if you can still beat Genshin Impact using only Diluc. We start this challenge by getting Diluc. When? Don't know. You might think I can get a free constellation for Diluc from the free 5-star event, but this account doesn't have it anymore since it's been more than 40 days since I logged into it last. First we need to do Amber's, Kaya's, and Lisa's domains. For Lisa we did some platforming to skip it, and the other two only had simple enemies, and for Amber's domain we could actually do it normally for once. With Act 1 done, now it seems like a good time to go over Diluc's pros and cons. Let's start with the pros. Diluc is strong. I'm not just talking for early game, I mean in general. His normal attack multipliers are really good, his elemental skills chain together really well with his normal attacks, and his burst works well for all types of enemies, but especially deletes smaller enemies. Speaking of his burst, it gives us Pyro infusion for his normal attacks, which is probably the best part about his kit. He also has the privilege of being tall, which makes him fast. Diluc's second passive talent also increases his Pyro damage when he uses his burst, which is really useful for Captain Pyro. His ascension stat is my favorite type in the game, crit rate. That'll make us crit way more frequently than my usual solo challenges. Pyro is also, in my opinion, the second best element for a solo challenge, only behind Electro or maybe Animo. It gives us really good elemental reactions like Vaporize and Melt. That's all the pros, but what about the cons? Pyro is a double-edged sword because it can also hurt us a lot because of things like burning and lighting grass on fire. That's mainly a problem because Diluc has no sustain. He does have pretty good HP though, so it's kinda made up for. His first passive talent sadly suffers from being made in 1.0, which is to say it doesn't help him at all. We'll rarely if ever be using his charge attacks. That's all the cons, and I think it's pretty obvious looking at the list of pros and cons that the pros are very strong. I can't wait to play my favorite character some more. To get to AR10, we did some general Mondstadt exploration, like opening chests and collecting animalculi, which quickly propels us to AR10. Reaching AR10 gets us a free 10 pole, and along with the pretty much gems I have saved, we have 2 10 poles on standard banner.
2 10 poles? Watch. We're gonna get Diluc in this 10 pole. Okay, we're gonna get a good claymore. We didn't get either. Oh my god. Could this be Diluc? Or Wolf's Gravestone? Holy crap! There's no way! Wolf's Gravestone on the Diluc account, let's go! And Singcho, he's here. Wolf's Gravestone, let's go!
We win. Diluc's signature weapon at AR10 is just so unfair for every enemy. It increases Diluc's attack by an insane amount, and against enemies with low HP, it deletes them. Now time to start Act 2. We meet the drunk bard who takes us to Windrise to fight an Eye of the Storm. It's annoying when it flies up, but it's also taken down so fast that it's not really a problem. Next we steal the Holy Lyre and then meet our main character. He accuses us of stealing the Holy Lyre, which, obviously Diluc, you were there. We then go to a Fatui hideout where we get to do Diluc's favorite activity, dunk on some Fatui soldiers.
You don't want to be like this. This is disgusting. This is awful in every way.
Next we need to collect 3 teardrop crystals to summon Dvalin. While easily taking down this ruin guard, we get serenaded by Diluc's story about dunking on more Fatui members, and then we open a random Hilichurl camp chest to get the next crystal. The last one is in the domain, and the Pyro Abyss Mage at the end of the domain could have been a pain, but there's conveniently placed water in the room, allowing us to just drain its shield away. Now we can summon Dvalin.
What up, G?
That's where Act 2 ends. Now we need to reach AR18 to continue Mondstadt. For reaching AR12, we unlock commissions, which are a good early source of adventure experience. We do some more general Mondstadt exploration to reach AR-15, and now's a good time to claim my Adventure Handbook rewards. That is after ascending Diluc and his weapon. Wanna know how broken the Adventure Handbook is now? I was at AR-15 and I got shot straight to AR-18, so we can already start Mondstadt Act 3. For the Abyss Mage at the start, it's really easy to just light the grass under it on fire, causing its shield to burn away quickly. Inside of Stormterror's lair, we need to trigger 3 light actuators, one of them having us fight a Pyro Abyss Mage. You know when a fly is buzzing around your face? It was that kind of annoying. Inconvenient, but easily dealt with. Now time to fight Dvalin. I don't think anyone will be surprised when I say this was an easy one-phase fight. That's the end of Mondstadt, all done in about 3.5 hours. A new best for my challenges. Now we need to reach AR-23 to start Liyue Act 1. Now's a good time to start Liyue exploration, I feel. I've said many times that Liyue is probably the second best place to get experience, only behind Dragonspine. The first thing I did was the world quest The Chi of Yore. This quest does give us quite a bit of adventure experience, but it also gives us a martial artist artifact, an artifact set that increases our normal attack power, which will be perfect for Diluc. Next I went to Cecilia Garden, the weapon material domain in Mondstadt, to get materials for Wolf's Gravestone. Still in Mondstadt, I did some domains for Shrine of Depths keys, which got me to AR-23. Before I started Act 1, I went to the Virgin Jade Chamber, mainly just to open the teleport waypoints around there, as we'll need them for the Archon quest. Now time to start Liyue. At the Rite of Dissension, Rex Lapis dies, and then the disgusting Fatui tells us to inform his buddies of his death. For Mooncarver, he gives us an energy recharge buff that allows us to unleash retribution against the Milla soldiers repeatedly. For Mountain Shaper, all we have to do is save the Sky's brother from the Amber, and for Cloud Retainer, we skipped her domain by jumping off a tree. Last is Zhao, and the Ruin Hunter in this part of the quest is easy because Diluc deals way more elemental damage than physical damage, especially when using his burst. That's the end of Liyue Act 1.
Alright, but imagine after I got Wolf's Gravestone, I get a Diluc constellation, eh? No. Okay. The Bell. What a massive downgrade.
Now we need to reach AR-25 to start Act 2. Before grinding, I think it would be a good idea to fight Diluc's boss, the Pyro Registine. There's 2 big problems here. One is that we can't knock it down to power up our attacks, and 2 is that it sometimes puts this pyro shit on the ground, leaving me no choice but to just wait for it to go away. It's really not that bad, just annoying. By the way, would you believe me if I said everything so far in this video was done in just 5 hours of gameplay? Diluc is already completely mowing through this game. For AR-25 grinding, all we really have to do was a bit of Liyue exploration to reach AR-25. After collecting some small lamp grass to ascend Diluc, I completed the easiest such domain and then started Act 2. We meet Diluc's boyfriend, who takes us to Mondstadt to boil some rocks while fighting some hilichurls. For once, the character I'm using can actually heat up the pot, so I didn't need to switch characters. Inside of Granny's teapot, we need to fight some slimes, which are all easily taken down with Pyro. Literally, there wasn't a single Pyro slime in there. Later we meet my second favorite standard 5-star, who asks us to find a Coca Goat. While searching at the Guizhong Ballista, we fix it using some useful parts, and then fight some treasure hoarders. They were spread out perfectly for my burst, making this fight easy. After a date with our boyfriend, Act 2 is over, and now we need to reach AR-28 to start Act 3. First I leveled Diluc's talents all to 2, and then I went to Dragonspine to get a bunch of experience. Nothing is really worth bringing up in this AR grind despite me doing a lot, and we reached AR-28 in about 3 hours, so we can now start Act 3. We activate the windmill mechanism with Sucrose before going to the Guizhong Ballista to take care of some Millilith soldiers in a similar manner as the treasure hoarders. We then meet up with Diluc's boyfriend to sing some flowers.
Attention monsters, my name is Papyrus, I'm a skeleton made with magic bolt and lots of cool. If you need proof, then look at my biceps because they're wearing sunglasses and that clearly means I rule.
And then take down the whopper flowers that spawn easily. Next is Child, and of course we easily destroyed a disgusting Fatui member. Last is Osial, and I don't think I need to tell you that this was easy. That's the end of Liyue. Now we need to reach AR-30 to start Inazuma, as well as complete the first 2 Dainsleif quests. Before doing that, I completed the Ambers and Razor Story quest because I need to complete them to do We Will Be Reunited, the second Dainsleif quest. Most enemies during the quests aren't too bad, aside from the occasional Pyro Abyss Mage. Once those are done, I also fight the Pyro Registine for when we reach AR-30. Still not hard, just slow. Now that we're AR-30, we can ascend Diluc and Wolf's Gravestone, as well as level his talents a bit more. Diluc has been doing incredibly well, and I feel like I should give him a bit of a reward. But how should I ever reward him?
This outfit reminds me of different times.
Look, I'm just saying there's a reason he's the only character with a 5-star outfit. Now time to start the Inazuma Prologue quest, which only has us fight a couple of slimes and treasure hoarders. Now that the demo is done, it's time to play the full release in Inazuma. Act 1 starts with us fixing everyone's problems in Rito before doing the transport mission, where we fight some treasure hoarders in Ronin. Like always, Diluc destroyed this. I'm sorry there's not much that I'm covering in detail. Diluc isn't really allowing me to with how fast he's taking everything down. Later we solve even more people's problems, I swear this is just a therapist quest, before going to break someone out of jail with another arsonist. Something I neglected to mention until now is Diluc's amazing particle regeneration. His burst only takes 40 energy to activate, and after using it at the start of this fight, we already have it again after like 10 seconds. Diluc is one of the few solo characters that can genuinely just spam their burst in a solo challenge. That's the end of Act 1, and after completing Ayaka's and Yoimiya's story quest, we can start Act 2, which starts with us fighting the Raiden Shogun. I usually just let her hit me to end the fight early, but I decided nah, I'd win, and went full alpha male on her. I'd like to apologize for everything I've ever said. Funnily enough, we got each other to about the same percentage of HP. Diluc is on par with an Archon confirmed. Later we save the Virgin from 2 Tenryou commissioned soldiers, and he takes us to the Resistance camp to meet Goru and do some archery demonstration. Virgin, did it look like I used a bow to save you? Read the room. I guess I'll just let the inefficient Knights of Favonius take care of this.
I'm going to kill you. I'm going to find where you live, and I'm going to murder you!
We take care of some pathetic Tenryou commissioned soldiers at the front lines and then meet the character I chose as my mascot, leading to dozens of people asking why she's my mascot and not Diluc. It was a random poll years ago and I ended up liking the nickname Coco, okay? Act 2 is done, and now Act 3. This quest starts with us fighting some Ronin bordering Watatsumi Island, all of which being no problem. At Fort Mume, we need to trigger 3 Electro Monuments, and given that we're playing as Captain Pyro, it's obvious Diluc's element isn't Electro. It's Hydro, so we just let another Knight trigger them before destroying the Electro Lotro with Overloaded. We kill the Virgin, and then go to the Delusion Factory. This domain was filled with Fatui soldiers, so of course I killed them in an instant. That's like Diluc's thing. Jokes aside, the speed at which Diluc took down these enemies was crazy, I think only rivaled by Fremine. We meet another disgusting Fatui Harbinger, and then we meet Yamiko, but who cares about those two when...
It's Sayu!
Later we storm into the Tenryou Commission's headquarters and take down the soldiers there. Another case of Diluc's burst being goated. Next is Signora. We all know that Phase 1 is easy for him, but Phase 2 is Pyro. Thankfully I switched to a physical goblet for this phase, making it easier than it probably would have been. Now time for Raiden Round 2, or as I call it, the Challenge Account Damage Showcase. Diluc's highest? 9k damage, very impressive. That's the end of Inazuma. Now we need to reach Area 35 as well as complete the Chasm Damsel quest to start Sumeru. Both of those quests don't matter right now though, as I need to grind things I need for when I reach Area 35, like Diluc's boss drops. It's still not very hard, it just keeps getting a bit slower. After getting a bit of materials for Wolf's Gravestone, I shifted gears to getting talent materials, getting enough to get everything to 6. While doing that, we reached Area 35 and ascended Diluc and Wolf's Gravestone, and then steamrolled through the Ascension domain. Now time to do the Chasm Dancer quest. I may absolutely loathe this Archon quest in terms of lore, but for challenges it gives us a good amount of enemies. Pyro is pretty well suited for this Archon quest, easily taking down the Hydro Abyss Herald and Electro Abyss Lector, but nothing stopping the Pyro Abyss Mage from being annoying. Now time to start Sumeru. First we need to clear out a Withering Zone with my third favorite standard 5-star. All the fungi being in water gave us free Vaporize and an easy win. Inside the Dream Domain we fight some Hilichurls who are once again spaced out perfectly to deliver Retribution. And at Sumeru City we get our Akasha Terminal and then meet the other Pyro Claymore at standard 5-star that just gets better with time. You know what? There's actually a lot of similarities between Diluc and Dia now that I think about it. At Port Ormos we meet Alhaitham who has us buy some knowledge capsules from Dory. I've now met 4 out of 5 characters I'm commonly associated with. If only Emily were in any Archon quests. We tested out one of the knowledge capsules on some fungi that truly didn't know what was coming. Later we fight some Eremites at the docks. Again, no problems here. Next is Act 2, otherwise known as the longest waste of time ever. Like, where the fuck did Nahida get the quote, "Don't wake a sleepwalker," and why is that her explanation for making me suffer through this samsara? Anyway, there's only one fight in this quest, and it went about the same as the Eremites from Act 1. Act 3 starts with us meeting another disgusting Fatui Harbinger who calls himself
The Doctor.
before fighting some more eremites in the forest. Later in the desert, we fight some rift hounds whose corrosion was no real problem. Act 4 starts with more eremites. What variety these fights have, right? At the LSR hospital, we fight some hilitrolls and a geologitrol, the latter being simple because Diluc uses a claymore, letting us take down its shield fast. To trigger the 3 dendro monuments, I grabbed a dendrogranum and teleported back and ran as fast as I could to the monuments, letting me trigger all 3 of them. In the mausoleum of King Deshrite, there were a bunch of fungi that we could easily skip, besides these 4. Diluc's burst once again made this fight easy, knocking down the flying dendro fungi. Soon after, Act 4 is done, and now Act 5. No reward for guessing what this quest starts with. At Party's DI, we fight some disgusting Fatui soldiers. They could have taken me down, but I made sure to heal in between waves. It's a weird loophole with the no healing items in battle rule that I probably won't use again. Way later, we have to go inside the DS Foundry and take down more Fatui soldiers. I think this is Diluc's heaven right here. Now time for Scaramouche. Diluc took him down in phase 1 pleasantly quickly, but I tried to get rid of the Nirvana engines with Diluc's burst and destroyed all but one of them. Being stubborn, I restarted the fight, and thankfully got them all this time. Unsurprisingly, he takes down Scara while he's stunned. In the polluted domain, Diluc launches a big Rift Hound like that's just a normal thing that anyone can do, and then makes quick work of the Electro-Lowatrol on the boat. That's the end of Sumeru. Now we need to reach Area 40 and complete the Danes of Quest Curry Bear to start Fontaine. However, just like with Area 35, I need to grind first, starting with my boss. Still slow, but at least this is the last time I need to fight it. Next, I fought a few weekly bosses in the hopes of getting some decent gladiator pieces. Sadly, I didn't get much, so I switched to grinding materials for Wolf's Gravestone, and then started Currybear. The Cryo Abyss Herald is the only fight worth mentioning usually, but I don't even need to tell you that this was trivial. Now time to start Fontaine. We meet Linny and Lynette at Maritime Harbor, and I think they heard my Hydro Diluc joke and took it seriously because they want me to gather Maritime flowers for them. It's fine though, because we can still collect them using a Hydrogranum. At the court of Fontaine, we meet the disgusting Fatui Harbinger that we beat up in Liyue, and he takes the only fight in Act 1, so let's move on to Act 2. This act has us investigating Navia's dad's death for a bit before going into this underwater domain and taking on some clockwork mecha. Another simple Diluc sweep. Next is Acts 3 and 4, which both contain no combat, so let's move on to Act 5, but before doing that, what do we think Diluc got in jail for? Probably what he did in Snezhnaya. If you know, you know. Act 5 starts with the tower domain. The fights in this domain would be usually worth covering, but they all pale in comparison to the final room of this domain, containing 2 Hilichurl rogues and a Ruin Guard. Surprisingly, Diluc defeated them pretty easily, not even losing half of his health. This is a true Diluc moment. Later we put Farid on trial, which long story short leads to 2 easy Gornamex and the all-devouring Narwhal. Usually you need 4 Numa or OCL spikes to hit him during the shadow phase, but Diluc only needed 3 because I just wailed attacks on him. That's the end of Fontaine. All we need to do to start Natlan is complete the next Danes of Quest bedtime story. The 2 Pyro Abyss mages are kind of annoying, but everything else is not that bad. Now we can start Natlan. We meet Kachina, who takes us to the Stadium of the Sacred Flame where we meet Kanich and Mulan. While there we watch the Night Warden Wars, which Kachina ends up winning. After that, Mulan takes us to the People of Springs where we chill out for a while before getting attacked by the Abyss. They may not be Fatui soldiers, but Diluc will still happily kill them. This part of the quest has us take down an abyssal pylon, which Diluc took care of way faster than I thought he would. It turns out burning the grass below the pylon does a crazy amount of damage to it, allowing us to take it down easily. Next is Act 2, which mostly covers us saving Kachina from the Night Kingdom. We also meet another dumb Fatui Harbinger. While trying to find Kachina's ancient name, we fight some Abyssal Saurians and a Pyro Abyss Mage. Despite taking quite a bit of damage, it was still easy. Outside of Pyro Abyss Mage's shields being annoying. In the Night Kingdom, we fight a few more easy Abyssal Saurians and Rift Hounds, and soon after rescuing Kachina, we escape and Act 2 is over. We start Act 3 by meeting Gilone and his seat Lolly, the latter taking us to rescue Auroron from a Fatui camp.
Say no more.
Normally this fight is really annoying, but Diluc is the GOAT, so we got through it first try. Later in this quest, we take down another Abyssal Pylon with some trial characters. Thanks for the break, guys. Next is Act 4, which starts with a bunch of Fatui soldiers. Christmas has come early for Diluc. Now time to go to war. There might have been a lot of battles, but once again, none of them are that hard. Pyro is weirdly good in Natlan, which is usually the opposite of what happens in regions. After the quick interlude quest, it's time for Act 5. We go into the Night Kingdom and fight some Void Warden enemies after a lot of prep. Usually Vichama doesn't do like anything. But here we can trigger burning to get rid of their void ward effects way quicker. Now time for Gasoithoth, who we sadly can only use Pyro Traveler and Malwika against. Lame. With Gasoithoth defeated, Natlan is complete. That means we beat Genshin Impact using only Diluc. Diluc did even better than before. Sure, it did help that he had his signature weapon, but you can't undermine how well he did outside of that. He handled pretty much any kind of enemy with ease. I know it might be a less interesting video, but I really just wanted to use Diluc again in a challenge because, as I said, he's my absolute favorite character. On the tier list of difficulty, this goes near the bottom of Walk in the Park, and on the solo tier list, he gets re-evaluated to go above Fremine. My next challenge will be the first team challenge in over a year when I play Genshin Impact without wishing, but until then, I'll leave you with that.